Hey guys, what's up? It's John back with episode 5 of the Corona Files. It is a glorious, hot autumn day here on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. It's Easter Sunday in 2020, and in this episode, we're going to be having a chat about competition research. So if you've been watching along the last few episodes, I've been talking about niche selection for a high-ticket dropshipping store, and a big part of niche selection for me, and particularly when I'm getting down to the point that I have, maybe up to 3, maybe 4 or 5, or even a couple of really good ideas for a high ticket store, and I'm really having trouble separating them. A big part of what I use to help me decide between niches is, what does the competitive landscape look like? And this is kind of like marketing research 101, right? Knowing who your competitors are and what they do. But something I've noticed over the years is that a lot of high-ticket dropshipping programs out there really gloss over this fact. And so, coaching high-ticket dropshipping business owners for years, I've noticed that a lot of the time people don't actually know what's going on in their market. And the problem with that is that if you don't understand your competition, you don't understand where you're going to fit into that market, how you're going to make yourself look unique. And being unique is a massive part of having great marketing. And for a high-ticket dropshipping business, if you can't do great marketing, you're going to struggle to be successful. So I really go reasonably deep on competition research. And I want to just walk in this episode, I'm going to walk you quickly through that process. So I have a tool that I use to track along with this. And of course, I'm giving that little spreadsheet to you for free. To get that, all you have to do is jump on and get access to the recordings of all of these episodes, which you can find at the little URL that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen there. In there, if you log into that or you get access to that for free, you'll find all of the little attachments and things I talk about will be right there. And in this episode, I'm also going to give you a lesson on competition research from my Build, Sell, Grow, Repeat program, absolutely free once again. So I'm going to jump in here and share my screen. And I'm just going to show you how I'm doing that. So here we go. So this is a Google Sheet. Obviously, you're looking at this is a blank Google Sheet at this point, but this is the template I use to do my competition research, right? And so you can see along the top in each column are the headlines of the things that I'm looking at in each niche. And so I do this before I decide to go into a niche, right? And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to find each of the primary competitors I can in this niche. And I'm going to do that just by really Google searching, looking at Google Shopping, looking at organic Google search results and that sort of thing. Because ultimately, if somebody doesn't show up in Google search results anywhere, they're not really going to be a good competitor, right? So I'm going to walk you through. So I'm going to use the example I used yesterday for the niche research video, which was caravan parts and accessories. So I've gone into Google, I've just done a search, and I'm starting to look through at the ads, and then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm finding competitors. It's pretty simple, really. You've got a ton of competitors here, and this is what you're going to be looking for. And so you're not just looking for people that are going to be selling exactly the same products and brands that you want to dropship. You're looking for anybody who's selling products that fit within your niche or your potential niche. And so I've just picked one here. I'm not going to obviously go through all of them, but I picked one site here, which I know is one of the better ones in the niche. This site, Caravans Plus. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through this and putting in their name, URL. At this point, having looked at this, I know these guys sell some of the same and similar products. What I would want to sell. Now, traffic sources. This is sort of asking, are they where have you seen them generating their traffic? So for these guys, I haven't actually seen any ads on Google from these guys. I've searched around a little bit, but I have seen them. Obviously, they get a ton of traffic organically. So if I wanted to see their organic traffic, I would use an SEO tool like Ubersuggest, which is a cheap one, and I just put their URL in here. Or I could use Ahrefs if you're spending a bit more money. I usually use Ahrefs, but I like to demonstrate things on Ubersuggest because it's a bit more accessible for anybody who might be watching. And And this is going to show me they're getting around 100,000 visits a month organically. So they're doing pretty amazingly for Australia. This is an Australian site. It's exactly the same in the US or any other country how you do this. They're getting a super amount of SEO. So their primary traffic, I would suggest, is coming organically. If I wanted to see whether they were doing any, I don't have any links to their social networks or anything here. If I went into their Facebook page, I'm sure they have a Facebook page. I can't even see a link to their Facebook page. I'm sure they do. You can go onto people's Facebook page and see what ads they're running. So you can see if they're running Facebook ads. And you can see if you go to their website, if you then get retargeted in various parts of the internet, you can see if they're running retargeting ads. And sort of you would be building out along that way. But for now, I'm going to say their main source of traffic is SEO. Then you want to check, are they doing any email marketing? Trust me, all of this stuff is going to help you to decide, because if I'm looking at a niche and I see nobody is doing email marketing, which happens a lot, then I'm going to be saying, right, well, I'm somebody who's really big on email marketing. It's a great thing for e-commerce businesses. And I'm going to do a lot of that. So if I see that nobody else is doing any email marketing, I know straight up there's an opportunity for me to present something different to the market. So to do that, I'm going to simply come back to the website once again, and I'm going to look around. Do they have any opt-ins here? They don't have any opt-ins here. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to go, I'm going to find a, let's see, can I find a random product top seller? I'm going to go in here and add to cart. Now this is a bit of a pain, but I'm going to put in, so I have email addresses I use just for this purpose. And this is a great little tip as well. If you really want to learn about great email marketing and see what other people are doing, every time you're looking at e-commerce websites, it doesn't matter whose it is, get on their email list. Build a little email for yourself. So you can see the one I use here is called johnwarrenpromos@gmail.com. I solely use that inbox just to send marketing examples. This is a great way to learn how to do great email marketing. See what other people are doing. So I'm going to do this. I'm not going to put my phone number in, actually. What's this asking me to do? It's asking me to register. Yeah, sure, I'll register. I'm going to give them a fake number. That is a fake number. I'm going to put in a password. It's going to get me on their email list. I'm going to register. This is a really not a great checkout, to be honest. People shouldn't be asking you to register to check out, but anyway. So there we go. So I've logged in, and now I'm going to abandon cart. I'm going to go back, abandon my checkout, go back to the store. So if they're doing abandoned cart sequences, I'm going to get that at some point. They don't appear to have any other email marketing. If I go to one of their content pages, there are no opt-ins here that I can see. They do have nice content pages, though. There's no opt-ins here. There's no exit intent pop-ups to get me to sign up for anything. So I'm going to come back to my spreadsheet, and I'm going to say that no, they're not doing email marketing. And if they are, it's not very effective. Now, the USP, this is a really important one. What is their unique selling proposition? So what are they saying to people who visit their site? This is why you should buy from us. And there's two places, and this is really important. This is going to help to inform your USP. Once you see all of your competitors and you see all of their USPs, you're going to compare those. And what you want to do is say, well, what are they not talking about? What opportunities are there here for me to say something different to what all these other people are saying and present my business at least with the perception that it's unique? And so the place that you'll find USPs usually is on the homepage or on the product page, right? So if I come down here, okay, so it's going to be around here. So some of the things they're saying, they're a family-owned Australian business. People in this niche probably care about that. Lots of specials, free shipping. They're saying that their guides to help you choose your products is part of their USP. Live stock levels shown, super quick postage plus tracking. So this is basically their USP. Now, if I jump onto one of their product pages, I'm just going to check. Do we say anything else? Usually USPs can sometimes be on the product page, or at least part of them as well. But no. So that's their USP for this site. So what I would do, coming back in here, I would plug all of that stuff into here. I won't put it all in now while you're watching, but just say free shipping. Proof points. So this is what social proof points do they provide? Well, these guys rely very heavily on this. So rated 4.97 out of 5 from 57,000 reviews. That's pretty freaking awesome, honestly. And as they say, that's the industry best. And so they should. I mean, that is a great result for them. They've been in business quite a long time, since 2003, and so they should have racked up that many. So, once again, I would make a note of that. 53,000 reviews. So, they're going to be the top dogs on the social proof point. Other social proof things could be, these are written reviews. So if they had video reviews, I would talk about that. If they had other videos can also serve as social proof of their products in action. But primarily what you're going to be looking at is what reviews they have, how do they present them. And so, they present it in a few different ways on their site. So that's their primary one. So next I'm going to look over here, bonuses or premiums. That's basically like, are they offering, when you buy a product for them, are they offering anything like a free gift, some sort of information product? It could be any sort of other enticement to get somebody across the line when they make a sale. So for these guys, at this point, it looks like there's nothing really, they don't have any, they're not offering any discounts. They're not offering anything in addition to the sale on any of the products I've looked at. I'd look through a fair few products, maybe some of the more expensive ones. There's not really anything here. So I'm going to say no, they're not doing that. No bonuses or premiums. And then the next question, now this actually is something I separate out of the USP. So risk reversal can be part of should be part of your USP if you have some sort of risk reversal. And this is a huge thing. When I'm talking about risk reversal, what I mean is, what do they have in place to take the risk off the customer in the transaction? And so generally that will be returns policy, some sort of price guarantee, or some sort of quality guarantee. Those are probably the most common ones. And these are hugely important. The more you can take the risk off your customer's shoulders in a transaction, and this goes for any sort of marketing. This is like marketing 101. You must have risk reversal if you want to have a big online business. I don't care what anybody says, even in drop shipping, right? If you have no risk reversal, the risk is all on the customer, and people are going to be thinking twice about the sale, particularly for higher ticket products. So I want to know what everybody's doing specifically on risk reversal, because it's something I'm going to be very strong on in my own marketing. So if I look, there's nothing really obvious actually on their site about risk reversal, right? So it's not part of their opening USP, which I would say for me, that means there's a bit of an opportunity, because it's something that I'm going to say quite vocally. Here's another social proof point for you. I missed this one. It's very small. It's down the bottom. I'd make this bigger if I was them, but 200,000 plus items shipped in the past 12 months. So while it's not something that's verifiable by the customer, it could just be a statement. It sounds impressive, right? They're obviously doing a lot of business. And so they say, we are Australia's favorite online shop for caravan accessories. And that's actually good marketing. Another little tip there. If you've got a great number to state, right, don't just state the number and let people work out what that means, right? These guys are following that up with a statement that plants a seed of thought in the customer's mind. So they're saying not only that we've shipped 200,000 items in the past 12 months, that means we are Australia's favorite online shop for caravan accessories. And so you're persuading the customer to think something by making that statement. And when we're marketing, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to persuade people to take an action or think a thought that we want them to. And so that's very clever. Unfortunately, it's hidden right down here. I'd use that in a few other places, but anyway, nevertheless. So I'm just going to go to their returns page. So returns policy, returns for incorrect items supplied, warranty issues, and change of mind. So we accept returns. So they have a returns policy there. change of mind, 30-day change of mind. So they're basically their returns policy is that you can return something. This is their risk reversal, 30-day returns. And I'm going to say, but not part of USP. So why I'm saying that is that they do have this on their site, but it's buried, right? The only way I could find that they have 30-day returns, unless I'm completely blind, is that I had to go to the returns page. So what that means is that most customers who come to this site are not going to look at the returns page before they're ready to make a sale. So if I'm looking at this site, I'm just going to be thinking nothing, that there's no risk reversal. It's not going to influence me in any way. So for me personally, if I had a site and I had a 30-day returns policy, I'd be saying that right here. I'd be making that front of center of my marketing. And so people would then have the perception that what I'm doing is unique and different to this site, even though this site does do that. Because most people aren't going to look at that returns page until after I've convinced them to buy from me anyway. So you want to note that, price and terms, that's sort of making some notes around whether they're, how they sit on price. Are they the lowest price? Are they the highest price? If there's map pricing, if you're in the US, are they sticking to, are they the same price as everybody else? I won't do that comparison here in Australia because that tends to get a bit more tricky. The hook is a marketing thing. Like, what's their tagline for their business, kind of? And on this one, it's down here. Great parts delivered fast. This is their hook. For their marketing hook. I don't know how much they use it, but they do have one. So I'd say great parts delivered fast. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad one, actually. Their primary marketing promise. So what is the big thing they're saying? What's their number one? So in marketing, you tend to have a number one promise that you're making to the market about your business and why people should buy from you. So for these guys, look, I'm going to say actually that their primary promise is they don't have one clear thing they say, but the thing that stands out to me the most is probably either going to be this sort of everything you need and this idea that they're the fastest and the easiest way to get access to the biggest parts, or it's going to be that you can trust us because we're so highly rated by so many people. So I don't think there's one clear thing, but I would probably make note of those two things, right? So I'm just going to put here, trust lots with tons of reviews. I could make more notes than that if I wanted to. Don't do that. Over there, thank you. Features and deliverables. Now, this one probably not so much, isn't so much applicable in the sense of these bigger. This is a very big, broad niche that I'm using as an example here. If you're in a niche with less products, or you're competing against other competitors who have a similar product to yours and they just sell one product, right? So if I was going with a more specific niche, let's say that I was going to sell air conditioners for caravans, right? I was starting with a specific niche. And one of my competitors had their own brand of air conditioner that they were selling. I would be looking at what are its primary features of that product and how are they different to mine, and what does that product, what does it promise that it's going to deliver for the customer? So just noting, I actually use this competition research tool with business owners from all types of e-commerce businesses. So this one is probably not one that I tend to use so much for high-ticket drop shipping. And then the final column that I have here is, do they have content and any comments about that content? So these guys have really great content, actually, very in-depth. They perform really well organically, and that's because of the amount of content that they have. So if I go into here, articles, FAQ, and guides, they have a ton of these guides. So, I can just go into one of these sections and, look at this. I mean, this is, heaps and heaps of content. I can see there's lots of content here. The complete guide to caravan awnings. Those are one of the products I would want to sell. So I'm going to look at this. So not only am I looking at, okay, so how much do they have content? And some sites are not going to have any content. And so your answer is going to be no. Some sites are going to have content, but the content's not going to be very good. It's going to be very short, very light sort of articles, which generally do not perform well either from a organic ranking perspective or from a social sharing perspective, which are two of the things you want to do. Whereas some sites will have content and have really deep content, which is what you do want to do when you're doing content. And so looking at these, you know, I mean, this is fairly deep content, right? It's long, it's lengthy. It's not incredibly complex, but it's reasonably deep. And I'm going to assume that, you know, I would look through a few more through a bunch of these, but I'm going to say, yes, they have large amounts of very deep, I won't say very deep, of large amounts of content with depth, right? So once again, this is important for me because once I've put in like, you know, 5 to 10 competitors in here, I'm going to look at it. And if I'm seeing a niche where every competitor has a lot of deep content, I'm going to say, right, that's going to be a tough nut for me to crack in the same way, right? And so I might then start saying, well, that niche for me is not so much of a great opportunity because of that. And I'd make that decision in terms of, you know, all of these other things, because if they had great content but they were missing on some of this other stuff, then that might sway my mind. So yeah, that's the end of the sheet. So when you do this and you go through this, at the end of it, you're going to have a list of competitors. And remember, this is just for one niche we're doing here. And so if you've got 3 niche ideas that you're considering and you want to make sure you pick one that you've actually got a chance to get your foot in the door and be successful, you want to do this for each of those shortlisted niche ideas. So I'm going to come out of this, you know, there's going to be, for this one, probably at least 10 competitors in here. There's going to be a whole range of different results. And I'm going to consider that. And I'm going to think for each of these elements, like, what does it mean? What does it look like? Is there an opportunity, or does it just feel really difficult because they're doing such a great job of their marketing? And then I'm going to say, well, this one, this particular niche, yep, I can see there's an opportunity, so it's still a yes. Then I might look at one of my other shortlisted niches and just say, look, no, it's no good. So for me, I'm going to come back to that first niche where the competition research was a big tick for me, and that would be how I would get onto my shortlist there, and come up with an idea that works. So look, that's it. Competition research, niche selection, high ticket dropshipping store. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, just add them. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or you know, wherever, add a comment. I'll always come back to it and hit you up with an answer. So thanks for checking in today. Hope you're having a great Easter weekend, and I'll see you in here tomorrow. Bye.